Now let us discuss some of the basic terminologies used in the refrigeration and air conditioning chapter. First of all, let us discuss what is a refrigerant. Refrigerant is a substance which is used for producing lower temperature, right? Refrigerant is that substance which is flow in the refrigeration cycle, right? In the refrigeration cycle, if you see in your domestic refrigerator, one gas is flowing through the refrigeration cycle. That gas is your refrigerant. So refrigerant is a substance which is used for producing lower temperature, or which is running in the refrigeration cycle. If we talk about vapor compression cycle, then some of the basic refrigerant like R11, R12 is used. If we talk about gas refrigeration system, some of the gases like your ammonia gas or air, they are used as a refrigerant. So refrigerant will take the heat from the space which is used to maintain at a lower temperature than that of surrounding and reject that heat to the surrounding, right? So this refrigerant will take the heat from the lower body and reject it to the body, from the lower temperature body and reject it to the high temperature body, and let us say it may be surrounding or some other thing, right? So that is the refrigerant. Next is your refrigeration effect. What is the refrigeration effect? We will denote this refrigeration effect with RE. Refrigeration effect is the amount of heat which is to be extracted, the amount of heat which we have to extract from the storage space, from that space which we need to maintain at a lower temperature than that of surrounding, the heat which we have to remove from that space in order to maintain. Again, this word came into picture, maintain, right? So to maintain it, so continuously we have to extract some heat. So that heat which is to be extracted from the storage space in order to maintain lower temperature, right? Because if you maintain, let us say surrounding temperature is, let us say 30 degrees Celsius, and if we want to maintain 10 degrees Celsius, right? Suppose this is a body, let us say this is a body, right? And the surrounding temperature, let us say it is 30 degrees Celsius, and we have to maintain the temperature of this body, let us say 10 degrees Celsius. So achieving this 10 degree is not a big deal. We can achieve this through n number of ways. We can achieve this. But once we achieve this 10 degrees Celsius, what is happening? Because of this temperature gradient, this 30 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees Celsius, because of this temperature difference, one heat is start flowing from surrounding to, let us say Q1, from surrounding to this body. Heat will start flowing. Right, if the heat is coming into this body, the temperature of this body will start increasing, and after some time the temperature of this body will be equal to this 30 degrees Celsius and thermal equilibrium will achieve. So in order to maintain this 10 degrees Celsius, we have to remove some heat from this body. How much? Equal to Q1. The same heat we have to remove. We have to remove the same heat so as to maintain this at a temperature 10 degrees Celsius, which is lower than that of the surrounding. So this heat which we are removing is known as refrigeration effect. This heat which we are removing is known as refrigeration effect, right? So if you will be able to understand that why we need to remove the heat continuously you have to remove the heat, because there is a temperature difference, heat will flow, and to maintain this we have to remove the same amount of heat. So this is your refrigeration effect. And if we talk about the refrigeration cycle or the basic concept, let us say there is a refrigeration cycle. Suppose this is a body, let us say this is one body. Suppose I am saying, let us say this is surrounding. Let us say this is surrounding. And suppose the temperature here is, let us say T1. From surrounding we run a refrigeration cycle. Let us say this is a refrigeration cycle and there is a storage space. Suppose this is the storage space which we have to maintain at a temperature lower than that of surrounding. Let us say its temperature is T2. Let us say its temperature is T2 and I am saying that surrounding temperature is more than the temperature of this storage. We have to maintain this. We have to maintain this. So what we have to do? We have to remove some heat from this. Let us say Q1 is the heat removed from this storage space and this heat is going to the surrounding. Let us say Q2. Q2 is the heat which is going to the surrounding, and as per Clausius statement, we know that from the basic thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, we know that if we want to transfer a heat from lower body to higher body, then we have to give some external work. Some work must be there. So let us say this is the W input. Some external work will be there as per the Clausius statement. If you want to remove the heat or if you want to move the heat from lower temperature to a higher temperature, then some external work must be there. So we can say that this is the heat which is extracted from this storage space. So this Q1 is the refrigeration effect. This Q1 is the refrigeration effect, right? We already see that this is what we call in your thermodynamics as a desired effect. So it is the desired effect of refrigerator. We already see that this is the desired effect of refrigerator, or you can say this is the desired effect of heat pump. We cover these basics in the thermodynamics, so I am not going into detail. So this is the refrigeration effect of this refrigeration cycle or desired effect. Now if we say that what is the COP? COP of refrigerator. COP is the desired effect, that is Q1 upon work input, that is Wn. So you can say COP is equal to the refrigeration effect upon work input. Refrigeration effect upon work input, right? And you know one thing, that if this cycle is a reversible cycle, right? For reversible cycle, you know this, right? From the basic concept of thermodynamics and thermodynamic temperature scale, we know that if this is a if this cycle is a reversible cycle, and one thing also from the first law of thermodynamics, what is the basic energy conservation? Heat coming into the system. Let us say this is the system, this refrigeration cycle is our system. Let us say this is the boundary, so this refrigeration cycle is our system. So the first law of thermodynamics says that heat coming inside the system must be equal to heat going out, or for a closed cycle, heat coming inside, net heat will be equal to net work. So from here you can say that from the first law of thermodynamics, this is the basic of, we know Q1 plus W input will be equal to Q2. Q1 plus W input will be equal to Q2, right? So from here you can write COP will be equal to Q1 divided by Q2 minus Q1. Q1 divided by Q2 minus Q1, and let us say this T1 is, we can say this is the higher temperature, and this T2, we say that this T2 is the lower temperature. T2 is the lower temperature, and for reversible cycle, we know from the thermodynamic temperature scale that COP can be written as lower temperature upon higher temperature minus lower temperature. We discussed this, right? This is valid only for a reversible cycle. For others irreversible cycle, you have to go from this. If the cycle is the reversible cycle, then you can represent the heat ratio in their corresponding temperature ratio. So from the thermodynamic temperature scale, you can say that Q1 by Q2 is equal to TL by TH. This is the thermodynamic temperature scale for a reversible cycle. We know this, right? So with the using of this, we can write this COP is equal to lower temperature upon higher temperature minus lower temperature. So this is the meaning of the refrigeration effect. So this heat which is coming, which we have to extract from this storage space to maintain the lower temperature, is known as your desired effect, or you can say refrigeration effect. Next is your unit of refrigeration. The unit of refrigeration is denoted with the symbol TR, that is the ton of refrigeration. The unit of refrigeration is ton of refrigeration, and it is equal to, and it is defined as, it is the amount of heat that is to be removed from 1 ton, that is 1000 kg, from 1 ton of water at 0 degrees Celsius. If that water is 0 degrees Celsius, in order to convert it into ice which is also at 0 degrees Celsius in 1 day. In 24 hours, in 1 day, you have to convert 0 degrees Celsius water into 0 degrees Celsius of ice. So how much is the heat removed in that? That is your unit of refrigeration. So it is basically the heat transfer rate. What is the rate of heat transfer which we have to take from the water so as to convert it into from 0 degrees Celsius water to 0 degrees Celsius ice in 1 day, right? So you can say that this phase change will occur, this water is converting into ice and the temperature is same, 0 degrees Celsius and 0 degrees Celsius. That means the heat which is come into picture is the latent heat, right? We know that sensible heat will be associated with the change of temperature and latent heat will be associated with the phase change. So in this we are only converting the phase, we are not changing the temperature, we are only converting the phase, and if we are converting the phase, the heat which comes into picture is the latent heat. And in some of the book you will find that what is the unit of refrigeration, they can define as the amount of heat which we have to give to 0 degrees Celsius ice to convert it into 0 degrees Celsius water. That is the one and the same thing, right? If you convert water into ice, you have to remove the heat. If you have to convert ice into water, you have to give some heat. So we know that the latent heat of water is 310 kilojoule. This is the latent heat of water. So we have how much heat transfer rate is the latent heat into mass of water, that is 1000 kg divided by in 24 hours. So divided by 24 into 3600 to convert it into second, then it will come into 3.5 kilojoule per second. So we can say that 1 ton of refrigeration is equal to 3.5 kilojoule per second, or you can say 3.5 kilowatt, or if you say kilojoule per minute, then it is 210, multiply it by 60, so it will be 210 kilojoule per minute, right? So this is known as 1 ton of refrigeration. Next concept is your refrigeration capacity. Let us say m dot is the mass flow rate of refrigerant. In the cycle, let us say the mass flow rate of refrigerant is m dot, then this refrigeration capacity can be equal to, can be written as mass flow rate into refrigeration effect. It can be written as mass flow rate into refrigeration effect. So if you see that the COP we can write as COP is equal to, if you see from here, COP is refrigeration effect upon work input. So COP will be refrigeration effect upon work input, right? If I multiply this with mass flow rate and divided it by mass flow rate, then it will be equal to refrigeration effect into mass flow rate is refrigeration capacity divided by work input into mass flow rate. Work input into mass flow rate is power input. It is power, right? Work input, so it is power input. So COP can be written as refrigeration capacity divided by your power input. So this is known as COP or refrigeration capacity. So these are the basic terminologies which we are using in the refrigeration chapter. The most important which you have to be good with: refrigeration effect, what is the 1 ton of refrigeration, and what is the meaning of refrigeration capacity.